Welcome to the broadcast booth. Look around you, take in the sights, feel that rumble of the crowd right in your chest.
You can literally feel it through the floorboards.
Exactly. The verdant galleries of the Manheim Academy Dome are just absolutely swaying right now. Banners of deep green and forest brown are drifting through the air currents up above the field.
The energy in this arena is it's electric.
It really is, and we are thrilled to have you sitting right here beside us for today's mission. We are taking you straight into the action to break down the tape of an unforgettable Manaball match.
Oh yeah, Game 8 of the season.
A massive clash between the home team, the Verdant Deer, and the visiting Golden Eagles.
Yeah.
It's a matchup of two teams desperately looking to build momentum.
And we're going to call the highlights, the strategy, and the heart-stopping action right here. The anticipation in the dome is palpable. You can literally feel the tension bleeding through the transparent arcane barriers surrounding the arena.
Oh, absolutely.
For those of us who appreciate the deeply tactical side of sports, this is a dream scenario. We have a classic confrontation between an unstoppable force and an immovable object.
Playing out in 3 dimensions.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack this. We all know the standard mechanics of Manaball, but just as a quick tactical reminder, the Manheim Academy Dome we are looking out over today is exceptionally tall.
Huge.
A full 30 feet high, from the lower deck to the ceiling. So you're talking about a 210 by 95 by 30-foot enclosed aerial arena.
Which completely changes the geometry of the game compared to the tighter arenas in the lead.
It creates a massive upper layer. Let's talk about how that specific geometry plays right into the hands of the away team today, the Golden Eagles.
I mean, it is an absolute playground for them. The Eagles run a very rare, heavily offensive 3-2 formation.
3 strikers, 2 centers, and just 1 defender.
Exactly. Because of that extra vertical space in the Manheim Dome, they can absolutely dominate the upper layer of the arena. They turn every single possession into a chaotic, fast-break aerial assault.
Just nonstop pressure.
Right. Their centers create these incredibly fast opportunities, taking massive positional risks to feed their strikers in that flight band.
And what a pair of strikers they have. You've got sophomore Eddie Lum, an A-tier sniper who uses pyromancy.
Incredible player.
And junior Mac Blackwood, a dangler who utilizes electromancy. I was actually down near the ice during warm-ups, and the way Lum uses pyromancy to create localized thermal updraft.
The booster altitude.
Yeah, it's just incredible to watch. Meanwhile, Blackwood is ionizing the neutral plane to reduce friction for faster gliding. They are terrifying.
They really are. And their signature maneuver, the Eagle Dive, leverages all of that magic and geometry perfectly.
It's a beautifully orchestrated piece of violence.
That's a great way to put it. A center launches a high arc pass into the upper layer. The striker, usually Lum or Blackwood, accelerates, dives downward with that arena's mana gravity assisting their momentum,
and unleashes a devastating spike shot right at the goal.
It's nearly impossible to track if you aren't ready for it.
I tried wearing professional-grade mana boots once at a press event, tried to execute a tiny dive, and ended up pinned against the ceiling barrier like a confused moth.
I remember that video.
Yeah, let's forget that video. So I have nothing but respect for the core strength required to pull that off. But here's the thing. If any team is built to withstand that kind of bombardment, it's the home team.
The Verdant Deer.
The ultimate patient, counterattacking squad. They run a heavily defensive 1-2-3 system. 1 striker, 2 centers, and 3 defenders.
They dominate the lower layer. They just absorb pressure, waiting for the perfect moment to execute what they call the forest trap.
Right, the forest trap. Explain that for us.
When the opponent enters the offensive zone, the Deer collapse their 3 defenders, Leah Wuskatha, Briar Wood, and Teresa Walder, tightly around the slot in the lower layer.
Just building a wall.
Exactly. They let the opposing team fly around the perimeter until a mistake is made. Then they launch a breakout pass to their lone striker, Val Magnotti.
But wait, I have to challenge the strategy for a second. A 1-2-3 system seems incredibly risky against a 3-2 formation.
It does.
If the Eagles win the face-off in the neutral plane, they instantly outnumber the Deer's lone striker 3-1 up front. Why don't the Eagles just exploit that immediate mismatch right off the drop?
That is the logical assumption, and on paper you are completely right, but you have to look at the underlying resource management, specifically the mana reserves.
Nah, the boots.
Right. The 3-2 system the Eagles run burns through a player's internal mana reserves extremely fast because they are constantly fighting gravity to stay in that upper layer.
So the Deer are making a calculated bet.
Exactly. They are sacrificing immediate offensive pressure on the faceoff, knowing that if they force the Eagles to cycle the orb endlessly around the perimeter, those mana boots are going to start sputtering by period 3.
They are trading early territorial dominance for late-game stamina.
Which is a fascinating gamble.
And the absolute focal point of this matchup, the hinge upon which this entire gamble turns, is how the Eagles' relentless aerial assault matches up against the steady, grounded presence of Verdant's freshman guardian, Carter Vobs.
The kid is under so much pressure today.
The stage is set. The head arbiter is positioned at center dome. The strikers are lining up. The mana orb is dropped, and period 1 is underway.
And we are off.
Immediately, the Golden Eagles win the face-off in the neutral plane, just as you'd expect, and they push the pace. Absolute speed.
Look at them go.
Lum and Blackwood are already climbing into the upper layer, wasting no time establishing their dominance of the airspace.
Look at the pressure they're applying. They are forcing the Verdant Deer to backpedal instantly.
Just immediately on the defensive.
The Eagles are using their speed to stretch the defense vertically, trying to pull those Verdant defenders out of their disciplined lower layer structure.
The Eagles are cycling the orb along the transparent arcane barriers. Jack Jeffrey, the Eagles senior center, gains possession. He looks up.
He sees Lum.
He sees Lum. Jeffrey delivers a massive soaring lift pass to the upper layer. Lum catches it cleanly in stride.
Here comes the dive.
She dives downward from the ceiling of the dome, using that mana gravity to accelerate. She winds up and unleashes an absolute rocket of a spike shot down toward the goal ring.
It is a blur.
What a massive test right out of the gate for the freshman.
But Carter Vobs is right there.
He rises calmly from the Guardian Circle and effortlessly deflects the glowing orb wide with a clean, perfectly angled stick block. Denied.
What's fascinating here is the complete lack of panic from Vobs.
He didn't even flinch.
He didn't flinch. He didn't overcommit to the feint. The Eagles generated incredible velocity on that eagle dive using the thermal updrafts in the upper layer, but Vobs' poise completely neutralized it.
Just incredible.
Word around the league is that Vobs spent the entire offseason doing blindfolded gravity drop drills.
Wait, blindfold?
Yes. Learning to track the mana orb purely by the hum of its arcane displacement rather than sight. You can see that training paying off right there.
Yeah.
He simply tracked the trajectory and placed his stick in the exact right spot.
That kind of quiet confidence settles an entire defensive unit, and the Deer feed off that energy immediately. The deflected orb ricochets off the barrier into the lower layer.
McBain has it.
Verdant's senior center, Bannock McBain, collects it. The Eagles are caught deep in the offensive zone, totally overextended from that dive.
They're trapped.
McBain looks downfield. He slips a brilliant, threading pass through two Eagles defenders right into the open neutral plane. Val Magnotti's on it.
She has open air.
The junior striker accelerates, finds the seam, and drives it right past Eagles guardian Blake Anderson. Just like that, it's 1-0 Verdant Deer.
Wow.
You can literally feel the air get sucked out of the Eagles bench.
That is textbook Verdant Deer Manaball. They absorbed the most dangerous weapon the Golden Eagles have, the upper layer spike shot, and turned it into instant offense.
Magnotti capitalized on the exact mismatch we discussed earlier.
Right. Once she breached the first line of defense, the Eagles only had one defender back there. Suddenly, despite all the Eagles' high-flying chaos, the home team is in control.
The rest of the first period plays out almost like a loop of that exact sequence. The Eagles are swarming, generating shot after shot from the perimeter, but they just cannot break through the forest trap.
They're hitting a green and brown wall.
The horn sounds for the end of period 1. The Eagles actually have a significant lead in shots on goal, but the Deer take a 1-0 lead into the intermission.
You have to admire the icy discipline of the Deer. Their defense becomes offense strategy is working flawlessly.
They're letting the Eagles exhaust themselves in the upper layer.
Trusting their mana depletion theory. As long as they control the slot and Vobs hold strong, they dictate the terms of the match.
Which brings us to period 2. The Eagles' frustration at the end of period 1 wasn't just mental, it fundamentally altered their geometry heading into this second period.
They stop playing wide.
Exactly. They stop playing wide and start forcing everything down the middle. If you are sitting in the stands, you can feel the desperation radiating off the away bench.
The pressure cooker is on.
The Eagles need an equalizer, and they are throwing everything at the wall. Mac Blackwood is launching drive shots from the neutral plane.
Freshman speedster Wesley LeClaire is trying to exploit the upper layer with these erratic twisting diving attacks.
They are turning the dome into a chaotic, three-dimensional battlefield.
But notice how their passing lanes are getting narrower. Because they are abandoning the perimeter to force the issue, they're actually making it easier for the Verdant defenders to clog those passing lanes.
Yeah, but the sheer volume of shots is staggering. Yet Carter Vobbs is an absolute brick wall. He is turning away snapshots, arc shots, bank shots. Nothing is getting past him.
He is in the zone.
We are late in the second period now, and folks, we are about to witness the moment of the match. The Eagles have the deer pinned in their own zone. Jack Jeffrey intercepts a clearing attempt near the barrier.
He sees Ward.
He fires a lightning-fast thread pass across the offensive zone to Tyler Ward, who is cutting aggressively toward the goal ring. Ward catches, pivots, and snaps a vicious shot, aiming right for the top far corner.
It's a guaranteed goal.
But out of nowhere, Vobbs pushes off the neutral plane, stretches his entire body horizontally across the crease in midair, and snatches the orb right out of the sky with a spectacular glove save.
Oh my goodness.
The home crowd erupts in a deafening roar.
That save is nothing short of miraculous. The reflexes required to track a snapshot through traffic, calculate the mana gravity drop, and extend like that. It's stunning.
He had no right getting to that orb.
None. But beyond the athleticism, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the exact moment the Eagles' spirit physically broke.
You could see their shoulders slump.
Right. They executed a perfect offensive sequence. They found the open trickster in Tyler Ward and delivered a flawless shot. When a Guardian steals a guaranteed goal like that, it drains the opposing team more than just emotionally.
It makes their legs feel heavier.
Exactly. It makes the mana boots feel unresponsive. It is a massive structural momentum shift.
And the deer smell blood in the water. The moment play resumes, it's instant transition. Senior center Marco Moon steps up and intercepts a desperate, sluggish Eagles pass right near center dome.
He pushes it up.
He doesn't even hold it. Immediately feeds Bannock McBain moving through the neutral plane. McBain draws the lone Eagles defender, Natalie Matthews, and redirects a quick drop pass to Val Magnotti, trailing the play.
Magnotti is wide open.
Magnotti catches it on her monastic, winds up, and fires a clean snapshot. It rockets past Anderson. 2 Verdant deer.
Another beautiful display of the deer's offensive efficiency. 2 passes, 1 shot, and it's in the back of the net.
Bannock McBain is putting on an absolute clinic in tempo control right now.
He is dictating exactly how fast this game is being played, completely neutralizing the Eagles' preferred chaotic rhythm.
I want you to imagine being in the Eagles' mana boots right now. You are flying around, burning massive amounts of mana, playing your aggressive 3-striker system to perfection.
Doing everything your coach asked.
Right. You are throwing everything you have at the goal, generating massive shot volume. And you are forced to just watch as the opponent absorbs your best punches, completely neutralizes your speed, and capitalizes on your only 2 positional mistakes to take a commanding 2-goal lead.
It is the ultimate test of frustration tolerance. And heading into the third period, the Eagles are facing a nightmare scenario.
They have to play even more aggressively.
Which means burning even more mana to close a 2-goal deficit, playing exactly into the hands of Verdant's counterattacking forest trap.
So period 3 begins, and it is a pure test of endurance and patience. The Eagles actually attempt a massive tactical adjustment here.
We see them push their lone defender, Natalie Matthews, up past the blue line.
They're essentially running a 3-3-0 formation now, completely abandoning their backcourt to flood the offensive zone.
Which is incredibly dangerous. You can physically see the toll the game has taken on them at this point.
Their mana boots are visibly sputtering.
Yeah, little sparks of residual magic failing to ignite properly because their internal mana reserves are dropping below that crucial 20% threshold.
They're struggling to maintain altitude in the upper layer.
Which means their eagle dives lack that crisp, terrifying velocity we saw in period 1.
The frantic energy is palpable. They are firing blindly now, just hoping for a lucky bounce off the transparent barriers. Addie Lum, refusing to quit, manages to find an open pocket of air.
She's fighting through the fatigue.
She climbs the flight band and sets up for another diving strike from the upper layer. She puts everything she has left into a spike shot destined for the bottom corner of the net.
But Vobbs tracks the drop perfectly.
Drops to his knees on the neutral plane and smothers the orb cleanly into his chest. No rebound, no second chances.
That save was a quiet masterclass in rebound control. Vobbs didn't just stop the shot, he killed the play entirely, denying the Eagles' crashing strikers any chance to hack at a loose orb in the lower layer.
By smothering it, he forces another face-off.
allowing his defenders to catch their breath and reset the forest trap.
The home crowd is roaring with every single save now. They know what's happening. And as the Eagles press too far forward, desperate to break the shutout with that reckless 3-3-0 formation, the Deer deliver the dagger.
The Eagles send all three strikers deep into the corners.
The neutral plane is left wide open. Verdant's freshman defender, Teresa Walder, sees the massive gap. She steps up, crossing the blue line into the offensive zone.
The Eagles' defense is non-existent.
Walder loads up on her monastic, takes her time, and launches a long, heavy drive shot directly from the neutral plane. It's a laser. It sails right past Blake Anderson's outstretched blocker. 3-0 Verdant Deer, the insurance goal.
And that is the brutal consequence of the Eagles' lack of positional discipline. When you abandon your defensive structure to chase the game, you leave your guardian completely exposed to uncontested, long-range strikes.
Walder read the play beautifully.
She recognized the mana depletion in the Eagles squad, knew they couldn't close the distance fast enough, and took the shot.
The final minutes are a formality. The Deer completely lock down the dome. They collapse back into their tight 1-2-3 defensive formation, killing the clock by cycling the orb effortlessly in their own zone.
The Eagles' attackers continue pressing, throwing themselves into the physical fray, but every attempt is swallowed by that green and brown wall.
The final whistle sounds. The arena explodes. The Verdant Deer secure a massive, statement-making 3-0 shutout victory on home ice.
A truly complete performance from Verdant. They didn't just win, they dictated the terms of the engagement from the opening face-off to the final whistle.
They let the Eagles punch themselves out and then systematically dismantle them.
Completely.
Okay, let's unpack the post-game analysis, because here's where it gets really interesting. You look at the final score, 3-0, and you assume it was a blowout, a total one-sided affair.
But if we pull up the final box score, the Golden Eagles actually outshot the Verdant Deer 27-24.
The away team generated more offensive pressure, controlled the airspace for longer stretches, put more shots on goal, and yet they got completely blanked.
Right. Which brings us directly to our MVP of the match. Carter Vobbs delivered a performance for the ages.
27 shots against, 27 saves, a perfect 1.000 save percentage.
He faced down the most explosive, chaotic aerial offense in the league and didn't blink once. When you contrast that with Eagles guardian Blake Anderson, who faced 24 shots and made 21 saves for a .875 save percentage, the story of the game is written right there in the crease.
Anderson wasn't bad, but he couldn't bail his team out of the high-danger situations their chaotic system created.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Vobbs was the foundation, but the skaters executed their roles perfectly to make his job possible. Let's talk about the playmakers.
Senior center Bannock McBain controlled the entire rhythm of the game, finishing with 2 huge assists.
And Val Magnotti, the lone striker in that defensive system, capitalized on the exact chances she was given, netting 2 goals on just 5 shots. Talk about efficiency.
We also have to commend the unsung heroes of this match.
The Verdant backline.
The defensive trio of Briar Wood, Teresa Walder, who added that brilliant insurance goal, and Leah Wiskitha were phenomenal.
They combined for 7 blocked shots and 7 hits.
They absorbed the immense physical toll of the Eagles' continuous forechecking and disrupted their rhythm all night long. They kept the slot clean, boxing out the Eagles strikers, so Vobbs had a clear line of sight on the incoming shots.
You cannot execute the forest trap without a backline willing to take bruises.
No, you can't.
So what does this all mean for the league? The Eagles came into this game looking to establish themselves as an overwhelming offensive juggernaut, the undisputed kings of the upper layer, and they just hit a brick wall.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this game has massive implications for the Manheim Academy standings.
It really does.
The Verdant Deer just proved a fundamental truth about Manaball. Discipline, structure, and patience can absolutely dismantle raw speed and improvisation.
The Eagles proved they can dominate the airspace and generate volume, but volume without finishing is just empty energy.
This composed, resilient win could completely change the trajectory of Verdant's season. It sends a chilling message to the rest of the league.
If you want to beat the Deer, you have to outthink them, not just outfly them.
Precisely.
It is a phenomenal tactical victory. Now, we want to turn this over to you. What stood out to you in this matchup? Were you mesmerized by the high-flying, improvisational chaos of the Eagles?
The way they utilized the upper layer and pyromancy for those thrilling spike shots.
Or do you respect the icy patience of the Deer, standing their ground, managing their mana reserves, and executing the forest trap to perfection?
This raises an important question and perhaps a provocative thought to leave you with. If the verdant deer just proved definitively that a grounded, patient defense in the lower layer can completely neutralize the most thrilling aerial speed in the game, are we about to see the end of the flight band era?
Wow, that's a big question.
Will the league's rules committee step in next season to restrict lower layer defensive formations just to keep the game television friendly? Think about what happens to the evolution of a sport when perfect, impenetrable defense threatens to make the product too boring for the casual fan. It is a very real conversation the league might have to have.
Or on a more personal level, in a world where we are constantly told to move faster, attack from above, and overwhelm our obstacles just like the Golden Eagles, is there actually more power in playing like the verdant deer?
Just stopping absorbing the pressure.
Exactly. What would happen if you stopped forcing the play, absorbed that pressure, and simply waited for the perfect moment to counterattack? A brilliant thought to leave on. Thank you so much for joining us in the broadcast booth for this deep dive into the dome. We'll see you next time.